Man, guys, huge weekend slate coming up. Things were running hot this week. We had 5 straight winning days. That got snapped yesterday. Lose a couple of units, looking to get it back today, but still up over 14 units in the last week here. See if we can keep that going onto the week. Huge slate in the MLB, as always, on these Friday cards. Couple of NBA games. We're going to touch on that. We do have a bet out there for our members. We also have a couple of bets out for this weekend now in the second round of the NBA playoffs. If you guys want those, sign up on massaedge.com or download the Massa Edge app. John, how we doing? It's been a pretty solid week. Let's see if we can get it back on track today.
Yeah, hey, it was great. 5 days prior to yesterday, 5 straight winning days, up over 17 units, culminating with a big Wednesday night, plus over 7 units. This is what you talk about red hot. Boom, ice cold, went red hot to ice cold. 0 for 3 yesterday. Again, hope all my Massa Edge members, please pay attention to the units. We lost 3 games, but we just 1 unit each game. So we were head over 17 units. Pay attention to the unit size. That being said, we'll touch on yesterday a little bit with the Philly 76ers Knicks game. That was one of our losing bets, a 1 unit halftime bet. Watching that game, noticing Mitchell Robinson and Hart limping just before halftime. Knicks were playing a 7-man rotation. Nobody coming off the bench except McBride and Robinson. Bogdanovich, season-ending surgery, he's gone. So the amount of minutes that they played, and for me watching those guys limping off, that along with how Philly went into halftime with all the momentum gave me that side. So, again, these are what we're looking at. Don't just make a bet, a random bet. I did watch a reel yesterday. We had some guys picking the 76ers because the NBA had to have a Game 7, and that was the Game 7. And the guy's actually not a bad guy for the most part. And I just put out there, hey, once you start going down that rabbit hole, you just lose a little credibility. It sounds like a square. Guys get all over this. The Vegas made the call. The NBA get over that. Because the NBA would like to see a New York, Philly, 2 big markets play 7 games. They'd probably like to see them play 17 games, but they're not fixing the fucking games. Get the fuck. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation throughout the world, playing in fucking Mexico, playing in Germany, but playing all over the world. They don't need to fix games. It's like Vegas. You go into a whole casino. They don't need to fix the roulette wheel. They're going to beat you anyway. So that's it. Rant over. We'll take the L in that one. So, again, lose 3 units yesterday, 5 days prior, up over 17 units. Hopefully get back on the right track today. Basketball, it was our first loser, a halftime bet. Had won 5 straight NBA games, all full game bets, not halftime bets. So, again, most of those bets were 2 unit bets, and Oklahoma City, when the Thunder pillaged the Pelicans by 30, that was a 3 unit bet. So we lose a halftime bet. It was a 1 unit bet. NBA back strong. I like the NBA games we got going on, especially the one tonight. So why don't we start in NBA? Now we're going to run down this big baseball card for Friday, Ben.
Yep, got a couple of Game 6s, one in the Eastern Conference, one in the West tonight. Eastern Conference starts off with Cavs and Orlando Magic. There's been a home team dominated series so far. Cavs take the first 2. Orlando answered back in Orlando. Tight one in the last one. Cleveland gets it. We'll see if the Magic continue to protect home floor. First off, Paulo Banchero, playing great ball in this series. I don't think we've ever seen a first pick young star get less attention, less credit, less coverage than what we're seeing with what he's doing in Orlando right now. So
we'll market Orlando.
Yep.
Disney World gets more fucking publicity in Orlando.
Well, even Anthony Edwards, that's a small market in Minnesota. He's getting all the love in the world. So, but anyways, Magic been protecting home floor. It's that or nothing in this game in my eyes. They just keep getting it done. Jared Allen, he's questionable, but dealing with the rib issue. Missed the last game. We'll see if he goes today. And even if he does go, how much is he going to be there? It's a huge part defensively. And Orlando's offense has just looked night and day difference back on the home floor. We'll see if that continues to be a trend. Magic or nothing, not busting the trend here. It's been the home team the whole way.
Magic or nothing, and all about Jared Allen. This series has been said the home teams have won. The Cavs didn't cover the last game. That was with Allen out in Cleveland. Cleveland now 1-9 straight up, 2-8 against the spread. Last 10 games on the road. That's the last 10 games, not just against the Magic. While Orlando, they've won their last 6 games straight up, 5-1 against the spread. Their last 6 at home. And they've won the 2 home games by a combined 61 points. We'll wait to see about that Jared Allen info. If that line ticks down and he's in, I'm on them. If he's out and it doesn't go past 4.5, I'm on them. Magic or nobody.
And we got Clippers at Dallas to round out the NBA card tonight. Luka Doncic coming off a big Game 5 there in LA. Another winner for us in this series with the Mavs in Game 5. And this one's a game we have a bet on here tonight. See what they get out of the Clippers tonight. No Kawhi Leonard. He's going to miss again tonight. Surprise, surprise. Kawhi missing time in the playoffs. And then as far as this Dallas team, I mean, you've had Luka, who's had a couple of up and down games. Kyrie, who's been pretty consistent, took a little bit of a step back in that Game 5. Their defense was phenomenal. That's kind of what's gotten it done in the games Dallas has won. Obviously, the last time they were in Dallas, Clippers had that massive lead. Dallas comes all the way back just to blow it late. We'll see if Clippers can hang tight again, but coming off a monster loss, got to be a bit of a revenge angle tonight, John.
Yeah, home revenge. So these teams now, 5 games into this series, Mavs have won 3 of the 5. Clips won 2 of 3 regular season games. So they're 4-4 for the season going into tonight's game. Coming off that beatdown, that embarrassment, is the worst playoff loss in Clipper history. Look, guys, it's old with Kawhi already. He's just not going to last the full season with this guy. They've tried everything, playing him, resting him, giving him back-to-backs off. He just can't get there by time April, May rolls around. He's just not playing basketball. Clippers are used to that. So 3 games so far this series without Kawhi, and they're 2-1 without him. Clippers, they're now, what are they? 5-1. Let me pull up the right stat, guys. 6-1, straight up, 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meaningful games without Kawhi. So I say meaningful because the last 3 regular season games, they basically sat everybody. They were locked into the 4th seed, so they sat everybody. They lost those 3 games. But the last 7 games that meant something, obviously the playoff games without him, and the last few games that they were trying to lock up the 4th seed, 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread without Kawhi. They can play without Kawhi. They were embarrassed. Let's also know what Luka did was amazing. Not only amazing because it's just amazing, but because this guy's playing on a sprained right knee and sick as a dog, like literally blowing snot out during timeouts. This guy's so he's not 100%. 8 points. We like the Clippers Saturday when we only took 7. I like them even more taking 8 today. I got the Clippers +8.
And that's the 2 NBA games. Like I said earlier, we do have some bets out for the weekend slate. If you guys want all those, you guys know where to sign up to get them. NBA's been hot, 5-1 the last 6. See if we can keep that rolling tonight and later this weekend. Pretty good baseball card coming up today. A lot of games as always. A lot of good pitching matchups. A lot of good pitchers going for some dogs. Going to have some live dogs going today. Top game on this baseball slate. We got Brewers at Cubbies in a day game. We got the best road team in baseball versus the best home team in baseball. Cubbies 10-3 at home. You have Milwaukee 12-4 on the road. It's Ross versus Wesneski. Slight pitching edge, going to give it to Wesneski. Ross just been rough his last couple of starts. He was roughed up really bad by the Yankees last time out. And Wesneski, I mean, he's not going to go too far in these games. It'll be his second start. First time out, 1 run, 4 inning, 1 earned in 4 innings. This is just tough to go against the Cubs in these day games in Wrigley already, but adding the fact you got a little bit of a pitching edge here would be Cubs are nothing for me. Not looking to lay the juice with Wesneski, but no interest here in the dog with the Brewers.
Give me 1 sec, guys. I'll be right with you. Got to get this important info out. And there we are. A lot of movement today, so we're monitoring that, and we'll get to it as we get to these games. Got a lot of teams that played yesterday and traveled, teams that had extra innings against teams that had the day off. We'll talk more about that as we come to each game. As far as Ben's talking about the top game, it's the one-day game on the card today. Milwaukee at Chicago, as they usually do on Fridays. Cubbies day off yesterday. Brewers day off yesterday, coming off their wins this weekend at home against the Cubs, who a 4-game series at Citi Field. They go extra innings yesterday, and they come back to lose. They split that 4-game series 2-2, but they lose yesterday. So always a tough spot to be in there. Ross just absolutely crushed his last time out. Wisniewski made his first start of the season, was used in relief prior to his last start out. Not much here. I think it's a fair number. I'm right around that minus 110, 112 number. So I'm right in the middle. Nothing here. Got the lineups. Everybody looks good in this one. We're staying off the afternoon game.
Then we got Orioles at Cincy. Orioles coming off another win against the Yankees. They took 3 of 4 in that series despite hitting just 197. You have the Reds coming in. They lost at San Diego on Wednesday. They go 2-4 on the trip. Irvin versus Green. Irvin been pitching some good ball, looking like he's back in his Oakland days. They've won his last 4 starts, last 2 times out, 13.2 shutout innings. You got one of the better teams in baseball, the best road team in the AL last year. We'll see if they get back up to that this season. And this is Baltimore nothing. They're playing good ball right now. Irvin's been good on the bump. Green, he was better his last time out, but very hit or miss pitcher, and he's been more miss than hit lately this season. Baltimore nothing for me in this one.
Everything says take the Orioles as a dog in this spot, except one thing. Big 3 out of 4 over the Yankees this weekend. So maybe a little bit of a letdown. Remember, we bet the A's as a +2 and change dog in the last game in a look ahead spot. And now you come off the Yankees winning 3 of the 4. So tough spot for Baltimore, since he coming off the road trip, but they had an extra day. They were off yesterday. Again, another one of those Baltimore played. Huge game against the Yankees, their rival, who's going to win the American League East. They win that game. They travel. They got to go to Cincy since he had the day off. So while everything says Orioles, and my numbers say Orioles, I'm a little less inclined. Let's see how high this number goes. You want to make sure everybody's in the lineup for Baltimore today before placing a bet here. Everybody playing yesterday, do they get a day off today? So we'll take a look at the lineups and where that line is later on.
We got Rockies at Pittsburgh, 2 of your coldest teams in the MLB right now. Rockies, they've now dropped 5 straight after getting swept at Miami, who was the MLB worst team at the time. Then you have this Pittsburgh team who's 1-7 their last 8, scoring just 2 runs per game, hitting a $181. Really big price here for the Pirates at this opener. Lean more to Rockies. It's Quantrill versus Perez. You could argue a pitching edge either side there. Quantrill, last time out roughed up, but it was in Mexico. His 3 prior starts, all quality starts, 4 runs in 18 innings. Perez coming off a quality start. I'm going to give the slightest of edges here to Perez. It's not too drastic, and certainly not drastic enough for me to make this ice-cold Pirates lineup this big of a favorite. Do you want to back the worst road team in baseball? Rockies are 2-16 is a question. We need a little bit more back to the opening number on this price to back Colorado.
Yeah, I'm not backing them, but the other shops did. They buried Colorado in this spot. This overnight opener, was 185, and it's down as low as minus 160 now. I want no part of Colorado. Another team, 2 of 3 games in Miami, went to extra innings. They played yesterday. They got to travel to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off a horrendous West Coast trip, get swept in Oakland, as bad as you could play, but they were off yesterday. I got to give Perez the edge here. Quantrill was pitching real good baseball. 3 quality starts. When a Rockies pitcher has 3 quality starts, that's news.
Yep.
That got upset with his last start. That was against Houston in Mexico, where you expect more runs to be scored against them. So while I like Quantrill, I'm not going to give Perez much of a pitching advantage. Just Colorado suck on the absolute worst road team in the National League. You give the White Sox, actually, they're the worst road team in baseball. Even I've got them even worse than the White Sox. Can't get my money for the Rockies on the road, even at this big number, and certainly not now that the shops have buried the number.
Then we got Giants at Philly, one of the better pitching matchups of the day. Hicks versus Nola. Hicks, he's allowed 2 runs or less in all 6 of his starts. Last time out was a quality start versus that ice-cold Pirates team. Nola, he's coming off 4 straight quality starts in the last 2, 5 runs, 16 innings, gone 8 innings in the last 2 starts, 17 Ks, 2 walks, one of those against the Padres, one of those against the White Sox. Good pitching matchup. This price getting a little bit steep here, though, for Philly. I know they're red hot. Nola's been pitching good ball, but Hicks has been as good as it gets right now. I mean, it's been a great transition. Shout out to San Francisco and their scouting department in the front office for having the balls to turn this guy from one of the better relievers to baseball into a starter. And it's worked out so far. And at this price, it would have to be Giants or nothing for me. Pitching edge, you could even argue, to Hicks a little bit.
Philadelphia has been getting some amazing pitching. Right now, I have to say, is Nola maybe the 4th best pitcher right now? Suarez is unhittable. Wheeler's going great. And Turnbull will pick up from Detroit's pitching great baseball also. Nola looked real good his last couple outs, getting his stuff right. Jordan Hicks, there's a reliever, stretching him out. Now he's just giving you real good innings. So six innings his last time. Yes, that was at home against a struggling Pirate team. His only road appearance is at Miami, a team that really futile offense. He gives up 2 runs in only 5 innings. Another spot here where San Fran played at Boston. They won. They got to travel to Philly, so not a huge travel. Philly comes home. They were off yesterday. Philly red hot. This is just a numbers play. Is kind of the same scenario here with the Orioles. You want to make sure they've got everybody in the lineup for San Fran. Yep. But at this number, it's San Fran and nothing. Sorry, Philly guys. I know they're red hot, but this is San Fran and nothing with the pitching matchup. San Fran, not a good road team. Philly, a good home team. Nola, I can't give him much of a pitching edge, if any, over Hicks. So I just can't make the number that high, even with the playing against the not playing. If the number's too high, I gotta like San Fran, and we'll see if anybody gets the day off today. But if not, it's San Fran and nobody.
Got Blue Jays at Nationals. This Toronto team struggling right now. 2-7 their last 9. They lost to the Royals in Toronto on Wednesday. They've scored 1 run in each of their last 2 games. It's a bad sign when you got a team who's, 2 young studs in Bichette and Guerrero, mid-20s, haven't quite hit their prime yet, and they're talking about blowing it up. So we'll see what goes on here. Toronto starts to flip it around. I would expect this to be a series they have circled to get right against the Washington Nationals. Nationals, you guys know we bet them a lot, especially on the road, though. 5-2 on that road trip they're coming back from. They're not the best at home. They're an NL. We're second worst in NL, 4-8 at home. Corbin versus Kikuchi. Kikuchi, he's been solid. He was roughed up his last time by the Dodgers. Not going to hold that against him. Before that, 3 straight quality starts. And Corbin's just been pretty much unbackable. I mean, that last start at Miami, he gave up a grand slam before recording an out. So you never really feel like you're in it with Corbin. Kikuchi's been as good as it gets. This is a lean here to Kikuchi and the Jays. Now, I'm not advocating betting a big favorite, especially a team not scoring right now. Just absolutely zero interest in Washington. I feel like this is a spot the Jays have to have circled.
Again, Nats play in Texas, get blanked, and now they got to come right back and go back home. And Toronto had off, and they'll be going there. Toronto needs a win. 2 of the worst hitting teams, as Ben talking about, Guerrero and Bichette, not living up to what they even did last year. Guerrero hasn't been living up to his status for the last few years. But I just cannot back Corbin. He's literally unbackable. Of the eligible pitches, worst whip in Major League Baseball. Kikuchi has been set outside of that last performance against the Dodgers. He pitched a real good baseball, so you got a pitching edge. Yep. Nats, while I love to bet my Nats on the road, I called them the Road Warriors yesterday, couldn't get it done. Right now, they're just not hitting anywhere. They're going to have a problem with Kikuchi. Back-to-back days of playing and traveling. Look for Toronto to win this one. And again, this is an overlay. So absolutely not laying Toronto. I just can't find a reason, even at the overlay, to want to back a national team that's not hitting, that doesn't win at home, and it's got one of the worst pitches, one of the worst starting pitches in baseball going today.
We got Mets going to Tampa Bay. Lindor gets the walk-off double for them yesterday against the Cubbies. They go 3-4 in the homestand. They've been a bit better on the road this year, 7-5. And then you have this Tampa Bay team, ice cold right now. Lost that game at Milwaukee. Now 2-8 their last 10. Quintana versus Savali today. Savali, last 2 starts, granted, both on the road, but absolutely crushed. 11 runs, 16 hits, 9 innings. And really, against 2 ice-cold lineups, I mean, he's part of the reason the White Sox got going there in that series against the Rays. And then you have against the Yankees as well, who just haven't been putting up many runs. So a couple of rough starts here for Savali. Quintana coming off another quality start. He's been very solid. This would be a lean here to the Mets. Price starting to get up there. They keep on betting Tampa Bay. I can't give you a reason why. Cold pitcher, cold team, overlay on the game.
The reason, again, same situation. Mets, extra inning game last night. They played a tough series with the Cubs. So they played that extra inning, got to travel down to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had a day off. But Tampa Bay, I don't want no part. Look, we called the number right on Tampa Bay. They weren't going to be the same team this year. Finally, they just always figure out how to be competitive in that tough AL, that toughest AL East division. Not this year. They could be the worst team, even worse than the Red Sox with the pitching that the Red Sox have been getting. Don't want no part of Savali here. Again, Mets, extra innings, and played. Lindor was dealing with the flu. Wasn't even in the starting lineup. So are they playing everybody? Let's get the lineups. Mets are nobody in this one because this one has gotten way too high for Tampa Bay.
We got Tigers going up to New York to face the Yankees. Haven't had much success there. 1-8 their last 9 games at New York, but they've had a lot of success on the road this season. They're AL best, 10-4 on the road. They're coming off a win against the Cards on Wednesday. Yankees, they just dropped 3 of 4, scoring a total of 6 runs against the Orioles. Olsen versus Stroman. Olsen's been solid. They've dropped his last 4 starts, but 2 of the last 3 been quality starts. And Stroman, he's been roughed up his last couple of times out. He got some blessings in his last time out. Gave up 5 runs, 6 hits, 5 walks. Yankees pulled that one out because that was one of the games they put up 15 runs. Slightest the pitching edges to Olsen here as far as right now. Obviously, Stroman, I think, is a better pitcher overall. As far as right now, this moment, Olsen gets the slight edge. And team edge, I mean, the Yankees just not scoring runs. Big price here. Can they break the ownership, John?
Yeah, I hate to bet against that ownership. This is my one baseball bet, actually, so far for today. Stroman, first 2 starts for the Yankees, they thought that, we got a replacement for Cole, 12 straight shutout innings. Yeah, not so much since then. Last 4 starts now, 1-1, 5.95 ERA in those 4 starts without a quality start, as Ben mentioned. Tigers, Olsen, 2 of his last 3 quality starts. Tigers better on the road this year. Why do I've got them rated better on the road than at home? Because they were even better on the road again last year. They played better on the road. Look for them to break the streak. Look, Yankees had scored 30 runs, 15 back-to-back games against the Brewers, and then go get a total of 6 in a 4-game series at Baltimore. They played, they traveled, they come back home. Tigers are off. Tigers play well on the road. Got a pitching edge. Yeah, I know there's a trend to break. Yankees have owned the series, but I think today's at the number, it's worth the price. I've got the Tigers plus 140 for 2 units.
We got Angels going on to Cleveland. I mean, just 2 trends to kind of sum up this game. Angels 2-11 their last 13 games, and Guardians are 13-1 last 14 meetings in Cleveland. You got an ice cold team going on the road to a team that owns them on their home field. Couldn't give you a reason to bet the Angels. All you guys who look to lay run lines and big favorites, Cleveland could be the spot today. Soriano was roughed up his last time out. Bibby going for Cleveland. They've won all 6 of his starts. Last time out, absolute gem. Shut down the best offense in baseball. The Braves, 2 hits, 7 shutout innings. Couldn't give you a reason to bet the Angels. Have fun laying the juice on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing here is you got to be careful. Again, Cleveland, they played in Houston, coming off a tough road trip.
Yep.
Forget what Houston's record is. They're not that bad. Houston will start making their way. Cleveland started the trip at Atlanta, carried on into Houston. We basically had Cleveland just about every game there. And even though they just went 2-4, we held our own with that series because we staggered our units a little higher and caught them at big prices. Cleveland should not have been as high as they were on the road. Now they're going to come back home. Tough road trip. Batted only .222, scored 3.83 runs per game on the road trip. But now comes this Angel team that look, besides the White Sox, this could be the worst team in the American League. Trout, now, again, without Trout, who was leading the league with 10 home runs, he's going to be out pretty much, looks like could be for the rest of the season. They just look like a cursed franchise. They blow the whole Ohtani trade mess last year. Now Trout's down. This is a bad team. Can't find their own way to win. Came out and found a miracle way to beat Phillies for one of their 2 wins in their last ton of games. Cleveland playing good ball. You'll know they'll want to get a win here. They've owned this matchup. BB pitching great. Soriano, no reason in the world to want to bet the Angels here.
We got Rangers at Kansas City. Rangers get it done against the Nats last night. Then you have this Royals team. They won at Toronto on Wednesday. They went 3-3 on the trip. And for a KC team, they lead the AL 12-5 at home, but they've still been fairly competitive on the road. About 500 ball, big improvement from last year. Lorenzen versus Singer today. Lorenzen, third time back, was roughed up by the Reds. He had a quality start versus the Braves before that. And Singer, he's just been really solid. He was roughed up by the Rangers last year, but he's back to himself. Singer in 2022 was an absolute stud, one of the best pitchers in the American League. Last year, he did the World Baseball Classic. He was the ace of that team heading into the season. I think it threw him off. He had a really down year. He's looking back to that 2022 version of himself, so take that with a grain of salt. The stats against the Rangers last year. This is KC or nobody. Best home team in the American League, one of the better pitchers going. And Lorenzen hasn't looked the best. And really, the Rangers haven't looked the best entirely. Just definitely a bit of a World Series hangover.
They come up with a big win over the Nats yesterday. They needed that win after getting blanked the night before. Just not that same Texas Rangers powerhouse hitting squad. Again, tough spot. They played yesterday. Going to travel up from Texas up to KC. KC was off. Looks like they righted the ship a little bit. KC on the road, taking 2 or 3 at Toronto, a place where they never win. Problem is they never beat Texas either. Texas won 5 or 6 meetings last year. They've won 6 of the last 7 at KC. So I lead to KC here, but not sold. If KC became a dog, I'd have to make a bet on them.
And we got a good division battle, Seattle at Houston. We saw some big games between them in the back end of the season last year. We'll see if we get that series like that again to this season. You have Kirby versus Blanco, good pitching matchup going. Kirby, he had a rough go of it. He's been better his last couple of starts, 12 shutout innings, 19 Ks, 2 walks, 2 of his last 3 starts being quality starts. And then you had last year, he was great against the Stros, 1 run in 12 2/3. They won both of those. Blanco, he's been as good as it gets. And even in Mexico, which is a more hitter-friendly ballpark than Colorado, still only allowed 2 runs in 5 2/3. Before that, 4 straight quality starts. Still going to give the slightest of pitching edges to Kirby just because the history's there with it long-term. But Blanco's been pitching as good as anybody in baseball right now. And as far as the matchup history, all Seattle last year, especially in Houston, 6 of 7 in Houston. Yes, Stros are heating up. But still, I'm going to say that Seattle's a better road team than the Astros are at home. I'm going to give a slight pitching edge here to Kirby, and this is the plus money here with Kirby and Seattle or nothing for me.
It's a cheap price. If there were real plus money, I could see taking Seattle. Just can't take it right here. Kirby definitely turned it around last couple of starts, but Blanco's just been great. So I don't know if I could say give Kirby the pitching edge right now. As far as the team, Houston's starting to get on track now. Again. They've won 4 of their last 5. 2 of those games were in Mexico against Colorado. Well, in the 4 wins, they've scored 8 runs or more. In the 1 loss, they got held to 2 runs. What is it this game? They're more likely to get held to 2 runs than to score 8 against Kirby. Seattle just can't hit. Don't know if you look, you get 1 2-run homer off Kirby. I don't know that Seattle could put a couple on the board. They just can't hit right now. 219. They're 27th hitting 219. They batted just 192 on that homestand. Just cannot get it done. Hitting the ball, not big enough a dog for me to take it. And as I said, I just feel Houston. Look, Houston is tied with the Angels for the 2nd worst record in the AL. We know they're a better team than that. Expect to turn it around. Maybe it starts today. Tough spot. But again, if they were a bigger favorite, I could take Seattle. Not at a minus 110 number.
We got Red Sox going on in Minnesota. Red Sox snapped a 4-game win streak with a loss to the Giants yesterday. That wrapped up a homestand. They've been better on the road, second best in AL, 11-5. Not typically a thing you can say for Boston. And this Twins team with maybe the most fraudulent 10-game win streak in MLB that we will see all season long. 10 straight wins, scoring over 7 a game, but against the two worst teams in the American League, Angels and White Sox. It's going to be Houck versus Paddock. Big pitching edge for Houck. Paddock gave up 4 runs his last time out. That was against the Angels, 4 runs in 5 innings. And then you have Houck, who has just been a stud. 5 of his 6 starts, quality starts. Last 2, 3 runs in 12 2/3. He was a pitcher last year who was this kind of a pitcher on the road, struggled at home. That hasn't been the same this year. He's been good both home and away, but still, though, elite numbers on the road. 2-1 with a 1.00 ERA. One of the best road teams in baseball with a pitcher who excels on the road. And now the Twins having to face a competitive team. I think that win streak snaps today.
Yeah. Fraudulent 10-game win streak. Hard to say that. 10 Major League Baseball games is still winning 10 Major League Baseball. But Ben is right. Two of the 2 worst teams in the American League East. In the American League, there's no question about it. Chicago barely better than AAA teams. They're horrible. Anyway, Red Sox, same scenario. Played yesterday again against San Francisco at home. They've got to come to Minnesota. Minnesota has had some time off. Had the yesterday off. Buxton, he missed the last game. He's questionable. He hasn't been having his year, especially no power numbers now. I think only 1 home run so far for the year for Buxton right now. This game started out on the overnight at -120. Basically what it is went up now, but it went down. There was a bunch of Boston money and then some Minnesota money. So haven't found out the real side in this game just yet. But as far as I'm concerned, I've got to give Houck enough of a pitching edge here and make the Red Sox more of a play as a dog, even though they're coming off the road game yesterday and the Twins had off. Just give them the benefit of the doubt in this one. Again, got to wait for the Lions. Is anybody getting arrested? Is that why the Lion moved? Don't know yet. We'll find out. But Red Sox or no one to break this Minnesota 10-game winning streak.
Got White Sox going on the Cardinals. White Sox 3-3 on the homestand. They sweep the Rays, then get swept by the Twins in the back end of it. You have this Cardinals team who been a bit more competitive on the road. They go 3-3 on the road trip they're coming back from. Keller versus Gray. I mean, it's just tough to want to back Keller in this. White Sox just 1-13 on the road. That's an MLB worst record. Gray, he's been as good as it gets. 3 straight quality starts, obviously coming off a couple of seasons in the AL Central. And last year against the White Sox, absolutely owned them. 2-0 with a 1.00 ERA. No interest here in the White Sox. Big price, and it is warranted. I will say, as far as a season read with Keller, maybe more of an actual MLB pitcher they'll have in the rotation. He's spent last couple seasons with Kansas City. Going to be his first start now with the White Sox. Could be a guy we might look kind of like Fetty. I mean, Fetty's been giving them some okay starts. They're going to need some guys like that, but no interest in this matchup against Gray.
No, not especially that Gray, but basically owned the White Sox last year. St. Louis needs a win here. White Sox are terrible, 1-13 with a kid that's just making his first start. You get in was it 1 2/3 innings? He came in relief, so he got 5 outs. He walked 2 batters though, so that tells me the control's not still there. Don't want any part of the White Sox in this one.
We got Padres at D-backs, good division battle here. Last 2 teams in that division to knock out the Dodgers in the playoffs the last couple of postseasons. You got Padres here coming off a win against the Reds. They go 2-4 on that homestand. D-backs, they just got blanked by the Dodgers. They're 2-5. Their last 7. 2 teams not going well right now, but 2 pitchers who are. Cease versus Sony. Sony, 2 quality starts, 3 runs, 12 innings, 11 Ks, 1 walk against the Giants and the Mariners. And then you have Dylan Cease, who was pitching out of his mind. 4 straight quality starts, 3-0, 1.44. Then he ran into the hottest team, the Philadelphia Phillies, got roughed up a bit. Won't hold that against him too much. We'll see if he bounced back in Arizona tonight. Tough game all around. Pretty cheap price for Cease. 2 teams not going well right now. Pick your poison. 2 pitchers pitching well, 2 teams not playing well.
They haven't been playing well. Part of that not playing well is Arizona ran into the Dodgers in 2 of the last 3 games at home. Even with that, even with getting shut out in their last game, Arizona's second at home, scoring 5.38 runs per game. So again, just even with being shut out in their last game at home, still second in scoring runs at home. I like what I see with this kid Sassoni. But Cease is Cease, and he looks like he's back to being that guy we saw a couple of years ago. He did get hammered his last time out. Expect him to jump back with another good game. As he's been better on the road, and that's saying something because Petco Park, that's a pitcher's ballpark in San Diego. So we'll see how this one turns out. I'm right at a pick with this game, basically what the game is. No edge on this one, unless we get some guys sitting out for injury purposes. So we'll see where it goes later, but I think the number is right.
Then we got the Marlins at the Red Hot A's. And honestly, you could say the Red Hot Marlins as well. They're on their longest win streak of the season, winning 3 in a row against the Rockies, the worst team in baseball. Oakland 6-1. Their last 7 playing pretty good ball. Not hitting the most, but they're getting it with the pitching. Sears, he was roughed up his last time out for Oakland. But before that, 1 run and 17 1/3 in his 3 prior starts. He was pitching good ball, ran into the buzzsaw that is the Orioles. And Weathers, he's been roughed up his last 2 starts. Long travel off an extra inning game for the Marlins makes it tough to want to get it on this. Not necessarily advocating laying a big price with the A's. Just don't love the spot here for Miami, for one of the worst teams in baseball.
Terrible spot for Miami. So if you guys were with us on Monday, we talked about why we bet the Seattle Mariners Monday. We talked geography. See, we teach everything here. Politics, geography, Atlanta Braves, Southeast. Got to go all the way to the Northwest to play the Seattle Mariners, coming off a tough series with Cleveland. 2 of those 3 games went to extra innings. Well, Miami even further southeast than Atlanta, going all the way to the West Coast to play Oakland. Oakland was off yesterday. Miami in another extra inning game. 2 of their 3 games of the 3-game sweep were extra inning games against Colorado. 2 teams that can't hit. I'm sure me and Ben can get a lot of outs if we face these 2 teams. So this is going to be a tough spot. Oakland, we just talked about it, the 3-game sweep over Pittsburgh. 6-1 now the last 7. This is the team. Before the season started, everybody was going to bet against them every day. They're going to bet the Dodgers every day, bet against the A's every day, and win every parlay every day. Yeah, that ain't happening. But I cannot, even with all said, the travel, the game, cannot make Oakland a 145 favorite in this spot. Weathers, I don't like Weathers. He had a couple of good starts, and he had a low ERA, but cracked his last couple of times out. Bad travel, bad everything, but the number's just too high. So for me, it's Pittsburgh. It's Miami or nobody, but I've got to decide if I want this number.
And we got the matchup of the weekend, Braves at Dodgers, couple of your NL powerhouses, your top 2 teams in batting average and runs scored, your top 4 players maybe in the NL, 5 players, however you want to go deep with Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and Acuna and Riley and Olsen, all the big bats, all the big names. And you got Morton versus Stone to knock this series off going tonight. Morton been better his last couple of starts, couple of quality starts, both at home. 13 innings, 10 Ks, 3 walks. That's against Cleveland and Texas. Stone, he's been solid his last couple times out as well. 2 of his 3 starts been quality starts. He just continues to get opportunities these last couple of seasons based off of rotation injuries, really. And he's starting to make the most of it so far last couple times out. We'll see if that continues. Tough game to get a read on. I mean, my lean here is to Atlanta. They won 3 of 4 in LA last season. Got to give Morton the pitching edge. A couple of lineups as good as it gets. Both teams coming off the off day. Last played on Wednesday. Hope we get a good series. And this is Braves or nothing for me in game 1.
This is a tough one. Look, Stone was about as bad as you can up until the 3 starts ago, because 2 of his latest 3 big quality starts. We just kept saying, how is this kid in the major leagues? Look, Dodgers must have seen something in him. They kept him around, and all of a sudden, maybe he's found a little bit of a groove. 2 of 3 quality starts in his last 3 times out. A real nice game at Toronto, but take it for granted. Toronto just not hitting right now. 2 of the top hitting teams. I believe you got Braves score the most runs, 2nd in team batting average. Dodgers tops in team batting average, 2nd in runs. Going to be a war, 3-game series here. Going to be a war this weekend. 2 of the teams that are supposed to go to the NLCS every year just don't keep getting there. I think this game is right where it should be. I make the Dodgers a 105, a 108 favorite, and that's pretty much where the game is right now. So unless there's a big lineup change, which we don't expect, just tough. Look, Dodgers, we'll give Morton the pitching edge here. As good as that Braves lineup is, look at that top part of that Dodger lineup. You got Betts and Will Smith are 2 of your top 3 hitters leading in batting average. Yes, Acuna leading in RBIs. This will be a great one. As a fan, maybe just one to watch. I don't see an edge in this one. We got a lot of bets, a lot of leans today. More bets will depend on lineups and where this line goes closer to game time.
Yep, guys, as you know, we're watching things, monitoring lines and injuries all day long. You guys want that info, sign up on massaedge.com or download the app. Multiple NBA bets out for this weekend. Things have been hot. You should want to be a part of it, and we hope you join. Other than that, we got a lot of work to do. We've got an Instagram Live to get to. We appreciate you guys tuning in. John, I don't know if you have anything else here.
Let's wrap it up. Let's get to Instagram. Guys, we're going to try to start coming on more. We're discussing things, so come back Monday. We'll let you know what's going on with that. But in the meantime, become a Massa Edge member. Right now, Red Howard NBA took our first NBA loss. We were 5 straight winners. It was a halftime bet last night, up plus over 17 units going into yesterday in the 5 prior days. We're going to finish this one out strong. And then, what we do in the baseball, dogs, and more dogs. And, we're going to have them 0 for 2, 0 for 3 days betting the dogs. Yesterday, I think San Francisco Giants were the only dog to win. When it happens, we very hard for us to have a positive day on a day like that. Those days are going to happen once in a while. Stay with the program. By the end of the season, you'll be counting the money.
Yep, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.